Welcome everyone to the regular meeting Tuesday, October 14th, 2025 of the Village Board of Trustees at 6 p.m. First thing we're going to do is call this meeting to order. Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, number 3, agenda review. Anybody have to add anything or delete anything?
Just one small addition so we don't forget. It's properly warned. When water presents, there is a resolution in there that's an action item. So it's a resolution for an application, a grant application that I just got to make sure I address. So I won't forget, but Diane flagged me.
Under the water plant?
Number 7.
Yeah, after Todd and Avery are done their presentation under number 7.
Okay.
Just a resolution, 7A. Yes, please.
All right, anybody else have anything to add to the agenda? Okay. Number 4, public comment. Nothing, Nate? Hello, public. Number 5, approve and accept minutes from Monday, September 22nd, 2025, meeting as presented.
I will approve them as presented.
I'll second.
All right, we have first and second to approve the meeting minutes from Monday, September 22nd, 2025. Any further discussion on your minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes passed. Number 6, approve and accept village warrants through Thursday, October 9th, 2025.
I move that we approve and accept the village warrants through Thursday, October 9th, 2025.
One second.
All right, we have first and second to approve and accept the village warrants through Thursday, October 9th, 2025. Any further discussion on the warrants? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Warrants approved. Number 7, Swanton Village Water Plant update with Chief Operator Todd Jones and Avery Richardson. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hello. So,
We're going to pull up your
slides first. Yep.
It's not an elevation.
It's the water elevation these days up the lake.
Well, the place USGS you look it up is saying that it might not be current updated because of the shutdown.
Oh.
So last given one was 93.23, I believe, or 03.
Okay.
Yeah, so just around 93.
3-ish.
So maybe today's rain won't add a lot, but we need multiple days like today just to keep trying to get
I'm
them
hearing next week.
Diane, are you good?
Okay.
Excellent.
Let me check the
The offs are off.
Lynn, can you see it? Yep, she can see it. We're good.
Okay.
Yay.
Yes, I can.
There you go. Thank you. Nice job, Diane. All right.
Well,
Flawless so far.
It's the
Knock
equipment.
on wood.
You're good.
So let's go to the first one.
First pictures. So in the spring, we did a clarifier cleaning, and that entails taking the whole thing apart, pressure washing it, getting in there, then putting it back together, and hopefully not have any issues, but unfortunately we did when we put it back together. There's a 1-inch strip of rubber in between, a filter in foam in between, and it's non-porous. And we did it to specs of Westex filter system, and we lost some beads. Some got through there, so we had to redo it again. It wasn't operator error or anything, but it just, we've learned the process now. we're not the experts, so we tried, but we learned the process, so we know what we're doing now. So we actually are going to be doing clarifier number 2 shortly. We're waiting on some more material to come that goes in between the screens. So we have to take the screens out, we take them outside with hot pressure washer to get scaling off. And then actually drain and clean inside where all the, like the beads will float them out into the filter. And then we'll completely clean the chamber and clarify it. And so we do this, we're planning on it every 5 years. So the spring
So is the screen,
there's 5 pieces, 5 sections.
okay, yeah. I was
And then
gonna
when you
say,
lay them down, you squish them together and
Yep.
one side is you have to spray and put glue on. And the other side just squishes up against the other screen.
Yep.
And whether the glue didn't take or, I mean, it was, we found out what works now better than what we did. But
Yep.
we did it to their specifications, but it didn't, you know. There's experts in the field, but you don't want them here because they cost a lot of money to
Yeah,
come,
exactly.
you know, to do it. But we know what we're doing now, so we'll tackle number 2 shortly. We're waiting on the material. So that, it makes a world of difference into how the filter operates.
Sounds
So,
good.
you know, it's nice. It's something that they told us to do, and we're glad we started doing it, so. Okay, so that's the clarifiers. We'll go to number 2. So this is a bunch of different things we did. So we put more signage up at the reservoir as per, we had a sanitary survey, which the state and Vermont Rural Water sends someone in and they go through to make sure all your equipment is performing and actually capable to perform. And if you don't have anything, if there's any penalties, you either have to fix it or, you know, they'll fine us. We gladly had nothing. So just, we had to put up more signage. So there's a couple of compartments up there where it's, what's it called? It's a, what am I trying to say? Confined space.
Yep.
It's confined space, so we don't go down in there. It's like going in the reservoir for the diver.
Right.
So we, you know, that's done by the professionals and the ones certified to do that. So, but we needed signage to let people know we don't go down in there and they can't go down there. Nobody can go down in there.
Yeah, the trustees will remember that water was the first up for the League of Cities and Towns safety inspections.
Yep.
Did that, very few findings,
Yeah.
have all been adjusted and corrected.
Yep. So, on the, one part of that too was on the lower lift was the Bilco doors you did have to have a tool to get in there, but they suggested we put a lock on it. So we put a lock on, so that's more secure now. And secondly, we have cameras now on the facilities, so we can see down to the lakeside. Also, working with the electric department, we had a light out down there that illuminates so we can see what's going on, you know, down there. So we're getting that fixed. We installed rain gutter on the backside of the building for the loading dock because in the wintertime it was really getting slippery. This will help eliminate some of that. Unfortunately, I think we're going to have to do some on a gutter on the front side because it's washing away, eroding away our bank out front. What's coming off the front, yeah. So, and we put down some larger stone down there to try and rectify that, but that did not help. So we got to look into that and figure out what we can do there. But nicely, since we have our own lift, we can do that work ourselves, so it's cheaper to do in-house. We can go to the next slide. So this year, as in last year, potassium permanganate, we start adding it once the temperature of the lake rises around 11 degrees Celsius, which, if I'm not wrong, is in the 50s, somewhere around in there. But as we've gone up, and once we got to the point where the lake is so warm, it's essential for this, because this masks the smell and taste of the lake water. What happened last year and what's happened again this year was you can't help it, but you get a partial plug in the line. So you're thinking the potassium permanganate is going out to the system when it actually wasn't.
Okay.
So we've had complaints and different people talking about it. The water is 100% safe, but it just had a little smell to it and stuff. And the one thing, we have to have people have patience. If we do run into an issue with the process, you're putting out 300 to 400,000 gallons a day. So if it goes by 2 days you didn't notice where the level should be coming down and it wasn't, you got 600, 800,000 gallons out there of not treated the way it should have been for smell and taste. but not safe. Safe-wise, the water is 100% safe. We test 4 times a month for bacteria, which Endyne runs the labs test for us and then sends it to the proper people. And we test for fluoride weekly to make sure we're not putting excessive amounts out and the right amount out, which we always do. And, so the water's 100% safe. But as for this issue, as soon as the water, like we don't run potassium permanganate year round. Once the temperature drops down to about, like I said, 11 degrees Celsius, 10 degrees Celsius, we don't add anymore. We'll add water to the pumps just to keep the pumps running and keep that lines clear. What we're going to do is take the main tank offline this year and pressure wash it, clean it, make sure there's no sediment down in the bottom that's causing these plugs. And another thing we're going to try and do is flush the system once a month during the summertime too. Put some hot water through it just to make sure there's nothing going to make it happen.
Yeah,
I mean,
makes sense.
you can't prove or do it 100%. It just
It's
doesn't work.
preventive maintenance.
Yeah, which we do. We always check the nipples on the pumps and do what we need to. But so this has happened a couple of times, but it's just you're adding a powder to water and mixing it a certain amount of time, and then the pump's taking it away, putting it to the system. So we're going to try something different. And I'm also going to look into some other different means of treating the smell and the taste. There's supposed to be some new things out there, which I'll do some research on, but till then, we've never had a lot of issues with this, but the lake has never been as warm and as low. So hopefully people will understand and be patient. And then any questions or concerns, they can call us any day during the week we're there, or whatever. We'll gladly help anybody out.
Are you suggesting that calling and reaching out is more helpful than just letting us know and lambasting us on Facebook?
Absolutely. That would, if there is an issue, we'll go help, we'll go check, we're always available to help.
We're not the only system.
Yeah.
You follow St. Albans page. St. Albans got it even
Yeah.
worse on the.
I think majority of people, because of the temperature of the water that draw from there, were having issues. I'm sure Albert did, and so that's it for potassium permanganate. Like I said, I think if we're flushing once a month, that'll help rectify and see if maybe, so the tanks, where we draw out is at the bottom of the tank. Whether we raise it up a little bit, cut a new hole, plug that hole, raise it up a little bit, so if there was any sediment, it can't get in there and plug the line. But I don't know. We're gonna do whatever we can. We're gonna work on it to make sure we, don't have those issues. Let's knock on wood for next year or so. As for property maintenance, we've removed 3 half-dead trees from our property with the help of Jason and Dylan at the water plant, or wastewater plant. And we got 2 more trees that the line crew is supposed to come out and get up there. There's lines nearby, and they'll do it properly and remove them, and we'll help them get rid of everything. Then what we have to do is get someone to come in. We have 10 stumps down there. Through the years, we've taken trees out, get the stumps removed. We could look into possibly maybe planting some smaller trees, but those huge pine trees that are out by the lagoons is not a good situation. There's a ton of needles out there that get into the one lagoon. It doesn't hurt it, but it's just not fun. It's not anything that I want. So we are currently still working on the low lift station. Avery went down, pressure washed it, and then started painting it. And it's a paint sealant because just to make sure the concrete doesn't leak down into the, where the pumps are and everything. So, and it's needed a good cleaning. Unfortunately, there's trees everywhere down there, so it doesn't get a lot of sunlight, and it doesn't dry out all the time. So, but we can't take trees away on the lakeside. That's forbidden. So we're working on that, and that should be done shortly. And we monitor the media and the filters to make sure they're up to the levels that helps with the performance of the filter, definitely. Another thing that we need to do is we need to get 3 quotes to put a door on the backside of the building down there. When we bring in pallets of the media, we have to carry them in either by hand or a less amount that the tractor can drive around the backside and leave on the dock where we can actually wheel it inside. if we had a little door on the backside, maybe, I'm thinking 6 by 10 maybe, just a little garage door on the backside where we could take and wheel right in and
Right.
then,
Makes
move the
sense.
media right
Makes
alongside.
sense.
There's not a lot of room in by the filters, and that's where we store it. So we
But it
will
makes sense.
look into getting some quotes for that, to have that done this year. And other than that, we continue to take classes to not only keep our licenses, but to also stay up to date on any new processes or procedures that will help our job and make the water a lot better. So that's pretty much it, unless you got something else you want to add. So
Quick question, someone asked me.
Yeah.
How far out does the pipe go in the lake?
the intake is 200 feet out. It was, as far as I know, and I don't know if that's depending on if the lake was 97, 98 feet. It was 17 feet down from there to the crib, and the crib's another 14 feet down to the bottom of the lake. So we're not in any
No.
worry about running out of water, let's put it that way, so.
If our intake is an issue, the entire.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
That's what prompted the question.
the diver, I believe this upcoming year, not this year, but next year, he is scheduled to come in to do visual inspections at the reservoir on both sides of the reservoir, and then he also does the clear well down at the plant and the backwash tank. So the diver will go down in there and inspect, because 5 years ago, he did the cleaning. And he says, we'll do inspection 5 years, every 10 years cleaning. So he's due for that, and I do believe he's due to go out on the intake, check for zebra mussels and that, so.
Any other
So
questions for
that's
this
it.
team?
Oh,
Yeah.
no, thank you very much.
We're
Yeah.
always enjoying our
Good job.
nice
Well,
water.
it's, like I said, anybody's got problems, concerns and that, send them our way. We'll, make sure they understand that the water's completely safe. Sometimes people mislead information out there saying there's mold in their water and that. It's not possible, so.
Just before you go, you forgot to mention today, they came and
Oh,
looked at
yeah.
all the chemical pumps, which we've
Yeah.
been waiting for that vendor to show up, and half of them got done today, and these guys can
The-
do the rest in-house.
Yeah, the plant is run by SCADA, and these guys designed the SCADA.
Right.
And we've been waiting for them to come. We tried to put the pumps on ourselves, and it's their programming. So he was actually at the wastewater plant today doing some work. He slipped down, so we got all the pumps. There's 12 pumps total. We got 6 of them brand new, inline, ready to rock and roll. So we're good.
Nice.
And then this team's going to be encouraged to look for alternatives for chemical usage. Todd mentioned it. Our cost exceeded budget this year because of the warmth, because of the low water, and the fact that we had to treat everything. So there may be alternatives that are safer and less expensive out there. And then lastly, a lot of requests, you've heard me talk about some, but there's a lot of capacity. We're still operating under 50% for the existing location. So we can accommodate any developers that want to come in, and we've received those queries. And if we get those queries, we always work with Aldrich and Elliott. It takes an hour. It's a formula, and they can determine whether or not we have capacity both for water and wastewater.
Any update on when we will be taking over the pump station up there? The pumping station for the
airport.
to the airport?
Yeah, right now, it's already done.
Oh,
Congratulations.
Do you got the keys for it?
so when do we have the keys? When do we have to start monitoring it? When are we,
So
when are we putting our stamp on it? Let's put
The
it
short
that way.
answer is we have an MOU with Highgate, and the pump station for wastewaters, that's not quite ready to go yet. The water is online. We are going to start the billing process. We only have 6 customers currently, and that will expand. Nothing but up. Yeah.
No. What we need to know is, like, on the weekend chores, do we go up and do readings?
You
Is
will
there-
get trained. The other thing
Yeah.
you heard me talk about, quite a bit of call-outs and alarms for water. Seems to always happen on the weekends, and we think we have the root cause of that identified
Mhm.
based on that subject matter expert being there today. So
Mhm.
that'll be good for their sleep and for our budget.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Thank you for the
Thank you.
work. Facility always looks amazing.
Thank you.
So I do have that 7A part.
Yes.
7A.
So you heard me talk about it. We were going to pursue a grant. So it's a FY26 municipal planning grant. In order to apply for this, we need the board's authority in the form of a resolution and your signatures, as well as the Planning Commission. Ross Lavoy has this for the Planning Commission. They're going to review it and sign it. So it's something like a proposed resolution. First, I'll give you the intent. This grant will accomplish the creation of an asset management plan, update, risk and resilience plan, emergency response plan, and source protection plan, all of which we are legally required to have.
For
Water.
just
All-
water.
Just water. You need them everywhere. You need them in a hydro, you need them, but water, these are out of date. We need some expertise. They'll come in for almost free. I'll get to that. So the proposed resolution would be the Swanton Village Trustees adopt an FY26 municipal resolution supporting the application for a municipal planning grant in the amount of $30,000 with a $3,300 match that would come from water. So a $30,000 grant with a $3,300 match.
So we need a motion
Need a
for
motion to that
fiscal year
effect.
26
Yeah.
approval for a 30,000 grant.
I make that
Application.
motion.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a first and a second to approve the motion to approve an application grant for fiscal year 26 for Bill.
Yes.
And any further discussions about the application
Well,
grant?
it's for you. You're all signing this resolution.
We're all signing it.
Yes.
Okay. We're not authorizing you.
Oh, you have it? I have a copy as well. But I'll hold it till the end. Okay.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Motion carried. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Number 8 is continue discussion on the removal possibility of the island at Jones Court.
Okay, so I tabled this last month because you weren't here, and Adam,
You want to make a decision by yourself?
well, I can't make the decision by myself, and Adam is recusing himself from
That's right.
this discussion because of, or this vote because of his proximity. So it's you and me, kid.
Yeah. Okay. Go for it.
All right. So I was thinking about proposing to remove the island at Jones Court because first and foremost, it's the impact on the highway department and our equipment plowing around that island. So taking it out would be better for our plows. And then secondly is that it is a magnet for free piles and
Oh.
junk. Yeah, so.
Yard sale.
Yeah, so I know a resident, you want to read that into the record?
Yeah, I don't know that, I may summarize it. if that's
Summarize
okay.
it for the record.
So this is signed by several people, but Alexandra Bordeaux lives in the development. She is one of our firefighters, our young firefighters, and she reached out to essentially say that, well, everyone that signed off on this concept is opposed to the trash that's left there. That based upon the fact that it would be nice to keep it there for traffic calming, they propose that they do something as a local community to put a bench there and some flowers there, and they really want to keep it because the island actually is pretty close to this size, nearly this size of this table, perhaps a little bit longer. And the fear is, if you remove it, it does make for a very wide area for ingress and egress. And they're worried about the fact that it's traffic calming, for traffic calming.
If you increase the property on each side, you shrink the
Shrink the
entrance.
roadway,
You shrink the roadway,
adding more property to one Jones Court and
too.
two Jones Court.
You have to resurvey it, get an engineer to
Yeah.
divvy the land up.
Yeah. I mean, it is factual. We have had damage to a couple pieces of equipment over the years, but in revisiting that with Public Works, I think those are few and far between. That's when you get the massive storms and you can't see anything, and it doesn't happen very often. And I think the folks that have more experience can navigate around that. So Alexandra had a conflict tonight and could not be here, and I think shared it with other neighbors and clearly no one is here. But that's the sentiment, that it's very valuable for traffic calming.
why can't we take the island out and make a mark the same pattern? Reflective tape type, make a island on the pavement.
It's traffic calming as a learned behavior, because if you make a mistake, you hit that, you damage your car now. There's really there's no punitive, there's no behavior change for driving behavior if it's just lines on the pavement.
And I do understand that the kids wait there for the bus.
They do.
So I know last year I had brought up to beautification about planting flowers in that location because it's village property, and I thought it would be nice to do that. But beautification doesn't have the bandwidth to take that on. So if Jones Court was willing to take it on, to keep it up and to ensure that it was taken care of, as long as Dean is saying that it's not a major safety issue to his equipment, then I would give them a chance and revisit this a year from now.
So one of the paragraphs, and this is directly from Alexandra, instead of letting this continue again, they're all concerned about the unsanitary piles of garbage, but I think we're going to talk about something that might address that, and we can enforce that. Instead of letting this continue, I'd like to propose we turn the space into something positive, like a small community garden. Not only would it stop people from dumping their junk, but it could also bring life, beauty, and pride to the area. Along with the garden, adding a safe bench would be a great idea. It would give the kids a clean, safe place to sit while they wait for the bus, and it would keep them out of the garden area itself. In fact, J.J. Hansen has already offered to donate benches for the project as he enjoys woodworking and will be more than happy to contribute.
Yeah.
So they're willing to maintain the island if they want to change the appearance of it? They're going to do it, or we're going to do it, the village?
So the outline of the island would stay intact, and they would add community garden / flowers and a bench.
Do we mow that right now?
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Okay.
We wouldn't have to mow it anymore.
Right, that's what I'm saying, like one less
Yeah.
little plat to have them
Yeah.
have to move, but
Yeah.
still, like,
Could the island be shortened in length?
Sure, I think anything's possible. Yeah.
Use the footprint.
so I think if I'm remembering correctly from what she wrote was it's the ingress and the egress, wanting to keep the island in place because it slows people coming in and out
Both.
of, right, so if it were shorter, then on that would do that out, right? Like that would so is it necessary to shorten it? I'm just thinking like that's work that our guys are going to have to do. And our guys already have a full plate and they're trying to get these sidewalks done, and you know, we're getting close, the snow's going to start flying. I just don't want to put too much more on Dean's plate than he already has, especially with his young crew that he's getting up to speed. That's my only thing. So my thought is, if we give them give them a year, give them 18 months, we'll keep an eye on it. We'll see what it looks like. See if they're doing what they said they would do, and then if they're not, then we come back and we say, okay.
Yeah. I go along with
I mean, wasn't the plan originally a while ago to place a plaque about the ordinance of that's public littering, putting stuff there, and what the fine is going to be? I think that's just kind of lost in the periphery of constantly seeing that that's there, but I think a plaque would be fine, and I think somebody on the corner might be able to bust a few people. if that happens, or to break the ordinance.
I don't think we were going to put any signage there. I think we were
I
just
thought we
going.
discussed it a little bit, though.
You could do some kind of placarding depending on it. I think the folks that live in the community, if they know there's a 72-hour rule, they'll stop doing that quickly. From my intelligence sources,
Yeah,
it's not just folks from the community. There are other folks that
Oh.
leave stuff there.
but I thought part of the ordinance rule for 72 hours is it's on your own personal property, not public property.
Right, because if it's on public property, which that is, then that's just straight up littering.
Right.
And
Correct. And
that's,
then there's $500-$600 fine for that.
yeah.
And it wouldn't hurt to remind the people of Jones Court that that's what the,
We could get a sign to put at the end of Jones Court about littering on public
and if we
property.
catch some of those people, they could go into a fund for some flowers and beautification and benches.
My only concern with the bench would be the riffraff.
They're not going to walk all the way down there.
They do now.
Yeah,
They do
I
now.
think, but that's why we asked Diane to put on her calendar 1 year from today, revisit Jones Court Island.
Yeah, and we could also have Chief kind of keep an eye on how many times he's called out
Yep.
for loitering in that area and suspicious persons in that area. Because if we see an uptick, then we know that it's problematic.
How many names on that list?
So there's quite a few names on the list, and they consider it references. But she's not here to read these names in, and, I can read her letter. I'm a little more hesitant
To read the names as
read the names
hearsay.
in as true supporters, because
Well,
I don't
care
know.
about, I was just wondering how many.
6.
I mean, we've got to listen to the people, it's their neighborhood, and
Yeah.
we don't want to antagonize anybody. We're supposed to be working as a team, the village and the taxpayers.
Yep.
So I kind of go along with Susie's plan. Don't give them 18 months, give them a year. And if they can't fix it, straighten things out in a year, then we'll revisit it.
So would you like me to communicate to Alexandra as their kind of focal leader, that they have a year and have a discussion, have a dialogue with her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll revisit it, we'll track everything.
Yeah.
Do we have a cost estimate for the taxpayers, how much it's going to cost to remove the island and fix the road? And
No, but we would do the work ourselves internally, so.
True, but
It's-
it's still a cost.
It is a cost, yeah, no, it's a cost savings not doing anything, that's
And
for
it's
sure.
time consuming,
It is.
which like Susie says, the Public Works has plenty to do already.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like it would be good to take it out if it was an issue like I thought it was an issue with our equipment. So other than it just being a kind of catch-all eyesore, there's other ways that we can deal with that. So why don't we let the community beautify their space? We'll give them permission to plant whatever they want within reason.
Yeah, no corn.
Yeah. No corn. Also, it's
Pumpkins.
no marijuana. It is still early on.
Yes.
Flowers?
But you can, you can beautify it. We'll keep an eye on it, and then, like I said, if there's an uptick in calls for loitering or suspicious people, then we'll have to revisit what's going on.
And what about a plaque?
Yeah, that's easy. We can just
Yeah.
order one, put it.
Yeah, one of the little flimsy
Property of Swanton
signs.
Village, no
Yeah,
littering,
right.
No littering?
Yep.
Fine is, if caught,
$500 fine.
$500.
No
Under-
yard sales.
Title blah 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 VSA.
We can do that. We should order a few of them, actually. Diane is the expert on motions. I think this discussion suffices. I don't think we need a motion for this direction, or
Correct.
what do you feel
No
about
motion
that?
necessary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, any further, more discussion on the? Sounds like it's pretty well worked out.
for a year.
Yep, we'll table and revisit in a year.
Number 9, discuss and adopt Swanton Village free pile ordinance.
Okay, did you all have a chance to read that? Did you have a chance to read that?
No.
Okay.
Three piles.
Free pile. It's basically what they call the junk that people leave out in their front yards. Like, hey, come get it. It's free, but
Oh, okay,
it's like
okay.
it lasts like a week, and then it's 2 weeks, and then it's 3 weeks, and so
A year.
the idea was that you can leave your free pile out for 72 hours, and then after that, you would start getting a fine. Or if you're a renter, your landlord would get the fine, so the property owner's gonna get the fine.
Yep.
I like
For
it.
that.
My only concern would be if it's on the homeowner's property, the homeowner should have say as to how long it can be there.
But they always put it in the right of way.
If they're putting it in the right of way, different story.
If it's on the homeowner's property.
If it's on the homeowner's
Can't-
property,
Can't do anything
you
about it.
can't do anything about that.
Well, there's so.
But like you
well,
say,
this-
if it's in
that's
the
gonna
green
get into
space.
something different that the town is trying to do. So you're correct. We'll go with that for right now.
Yeah, I mean, if it's in the green space, which is village property, then
Yeah.
Yeah,
you get 72 hours. Back
Public
it up
space.
behind the sidewalk. it's all
right.
yours.
So does that need to be amended to say the right of way?
It should be, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, because then you'd be policing people's yards.
Was there a determined,
Yeah,
Fine.
well, the town's working on something for stuff like that.
Yeah, there's in this proposed policy, there's enforcement and penalties. First offense, 150, second, 300, third offense, 450, fourth and subsequent, 500 each.
excellent.
Also, this is just like a, because it's an ordinance, it'd be a ticket.
Correct.
Okay,
Civil violation.
right.
Diane, do you have a copy of that ordinance there? Because I'm trying to
Yeah, I
find
do.
where to insert within right-of-way,
Right, but
within
then,
village right-of-way.
but then if you look at section 3 under definitions, lawn furniture temporarily placed outside for use by the property owner, provided it is not located within the public right-of-way, except during official village events such as Memorial Day Parade or homecoming. Public view means
Oh, yeah,
visible
so-
from any public roadway. Are you talking about the private property?
Well, and initially, that was my thought, because it goes into, as the health officer, having
I hope so.
couches, chairs, the kind of stuff that's left often on the property owner's property poses a public health hazard, because it then becomes a place for rodents. And so my idea was, it was like, this would be 2 birds, 1 stone, right? You have this ordinance which allows fining for, because overall, all of it is, it's a public health issue. It's not just a like eyesore issue. It's a public health issue. So that's why, yes, I was working on the, if it's viewable from the public's eye, then it would pose a public health hazard. It eventually will pose a public health hazard.
Right.
So if you put a couch next to your driveway, but it's firmly on your property, but it's next to your driveway, you leave it there for a week or more, that becomes a draw for vermin. And that becomes a public health hazard, because you're now drawing the vermin into your neighborhood. That was my thought process.
It's a whole
You guys
different
can
issue
all.
than a free pile.
What's that? Yep.
But the problem is, a free pile is not always just a ladder or a bookcase. It's a couch
Yeah.
or a pile of clothing that becomes,
But you're as much as saying, if you've got a couch in your front yard in front of your porch, and it's been there for 2 weeks, you're gonna get fined because it's on your own property. You can't be policing the way people keep their own property. I mean, you'd like to get rid of the trash that's in somebody's yard, but how are you gonna do that?
But you can if it's becomes a public health hazard, and that's what I'm stating, is that having a couch,
That's a different issue than a free pile, though.
no, it's the same issue.
So, under section 3 definitions currently, it says free pile means any collection of goods, furniture, appliances, clothing, or other items placed outside at or near the curb, edge of roadway, or in public view with the intent of giving them away at no cost. What if you added or in public view within the village right of way with the intent of giving them away at no cost?
That works.
And then your free piles do not include, I think that's where it gets confusing.
Does not include
I'd take C
household
out.
furniture.
No, free piles do not include items placed for scheduled trash or recycling. Yep, that's fair. Items offered during an attended yard sale. Well, that's not a free pile at all, so doesn't that kind of go without
Well,
saying?
I just thought maybe that
Yeah,
people were gonna be, well, what about my yard sale? So I just wanted to like make it clear that that was not considered.
I think the yard sale would not likely be in the village right away.
Okay.
I think that would take care of that. And then C, lawn furniture temporarily placed outside for use by the property owner, provided it's not located within the right of way. I would just strike that.
Okay.
If the intent is to just deal with the nuisance folks who
Yeah.
leave piles of garbage out there for too long, then really narrow it,
Okay.
narrow the scope.
Sounds fine.
So that would be the only change under, would be section 3, would be or in public view, comma, within the village right of way, and then striking B,
I thought you said C.
B and C.
Okay.
Because yard sale, I
Yep.
mean, I think
B
we'll
and C.
know, if an officer gets called to something like this, I hope they can interpret the difference between a yard sale and not, and have some discretion. And then the only other thing, do you want the first one to be a $150 fine, or do you want the first one to be a warning?
Oh, I thought like that was gonna be
There's-
discretionary.
There's no, if you read this and it's a bright line reading of this, there's no
I
discretion.
mean, I would like never take away an officer's discretion.
All
So,
So do you want to make, the first offense a warning, written warning, so it's documented, and then escalate up?
that sounds good.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yep.
And again, we're focused on the right of way, correct?
The right away, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the intent of this is not to make money, it's to
No.
impact
No, yes.
behavior of
Right.
our
Exactly.
citizens.
Again,
It
it's,
is.
Putting out
you
free
know,
piles.
the right of way is village property
Okay.
and
I mean, 72 hours is pretty generous amount of time.
I think so.
So the other changes then under section 5, enforcement and penalties, are any property owner who violates, first offense, written warning, second offense, 150, third offense, 300, fourth and subsequent, 500.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sounds good.
all right. I didn't mark up your nice stuff yet, so,
Well, so when we're done and we have to do all our signing,
Yeah.
I'll go print a clean copy.
okay, all right. It's not that much, it sounds like we
Right.
talked
No,
about
I
a
know.
lot, but it's not.
Well, I'm sure there are gonna be changes on this one too, then, if you're gonna change the finding.
So you want a motion to adopt?
So you would have to do a motion to adopt that, and then they would get the 45-day period, it has to be posted in the messenger and around. It wouldn't take effect until 46 days. From,
I'll move we approve the,
Motion.
I'll approve we adopt the Swanton Village Free Pile Ordinance with the said amendments that have been discussed at this point in time.
Right. Second.
All right, we have a first and a second to adopt the new ordinance for the free pile. As discussed at this meeting, it'll be put together in a certain amount of time for the public,
what's that, the ordinance?
the new updated ordinance.
Oh, yeah, no, I'll do it
Yeah.
tonight.
As amended.
As
Yeah,
amended.
As amended, we'll amend it tonight.
Yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Nice work. Number 10, discuss and adopt Swanton Village animal ordinance.
Okay, so the basis of this ordinance was really just to stop the free ranging of chickens in the village. And also, the roosters in the village they're kind of a disturbance. So that was the point, and then trying to, in conversation with Ross, discuss like what kind of animals did I foresee being allowed in the village as a whole? Like, okay, am I okay with turkeys and ducks, but what about a cow? So we went through that, and I looked at some of the surrounding towns' ordinances, Burlington, Williston, St. Albans, and so this is basically all of those in Berry City, all of those cobbled together into one, I think, to fit us. So it has people in the village who have rabbits, duck, or any fowl to come in and register their animals with the town clerk, and then tell how many animals are in their flock and how big is their run space, and then there's limits on space and animals, the number of animals.
It's a large livestock game.
Large, yes. So my thought was, and you guys can agree or disagree, rabbits, chickens, turkeys, and ducks would all be okay. Anything larger than that was no, unless they had over an acre of land in the village, right? I'm just trying to go off.
Yeah, density-wise, so prohibited animals are cows, horses, pigs, sheep, goats, and any other large livestock not expressly permitted herein. So you really are talking about chickens, ducks, turkeys, and geese. And then there are restrictions on the size, and of course, if you do want to do a coop conditional use, you're going in front of the zoning and the DRB to get a permit for that.
So there's kind of a limit.
Correct.
Can't have it that.
And this one does have an enforcement and penalties. The very first bullet is warnings may be issued prior to fines at the discretion of the enforcement officer. And then it says first offense 150, 300, 450, 500, unless you want to adopt the same structure as we did. You want the first one to be a warning. I think if you're trying to impact behavior, a warning sometimes is the best way to do it.
I think.
Okay.
Makes sense.
So we're going to adopt the same exact fine structure as the previous ordinance we discussed, which is written warning, 150, 300, and 500.
Is there a limit? What's the limit?
It's like one chicken per square foot, or I don't remember. I don't have it in front of me.
I can't remember
because I
either.
thought everybody read it.
Chickens, maximum density of one bird for every 3 square feet of enclosed coop space. Ducks, 1 bird per 4. Turkeys, 1 bird per 6 square feet.
Is there a maximum though?
Yeah, there is some maximum for all. No, actually, no.
I didn't.
Yeah, I think you got to do the math based on your square
property.
foot.
Yeah.
And no roosters allowed, period.
Yeah. Rooster ban.
Has to.
Yes, sir.
We were around that over on 4th Street years ago.
Yep. Sadly, there's one wheel around.
Worcester.
There's plenty of free rangers down Street.
There are some nuances to this policy that might be difficult to enforce or might encourage a neighbor calling. So under the nuisance standards, there are 3 bullets. Odors from animal keeping shall not be detectable across property lines. Animal keeping shall not unreasonably interfere with the peace and enjoyment of neighboring parties, and noise shall be kept to a minimum. All not absolutely measurable and are very determined upon
Do we need
personal
to
belief.
adopt a decibel limit?
I don't know. I don't think
that
it's
case,
bad. I just think
it's not enforceable, it's not measurable.
Okay.
We might as well take it out, because we don't want anything in there that's going to incur extra work for Matt and the guys.
yeah.
So my thought is, if I can't measure it and I can't exactly state what it is, then it needs to come out.
So section 8 nuisance standards we're going to remove.
Okay.
Would you agree? Would you agree? Okay.
I imagine.
I'm just saying how Chief Sullivan changed the noise ordinance because you couldn't measure, remember we had the decibel
Yes.
in there? Then it became almost the officer's discretion. If this was causing a nuisance to your neighbor, and then,
Oh,
you know what
okay, I
I mean?
see what you're saying.
We tweaked that noise ordinance because you didn't have a factual measurement, but you do have
Officer
a
discretion.
nuisance,
Yeah.
and it's their discretion. So,
Keep it in there, and it's just not
Do we-
absolute. and
Can we put some sort of wording that states nuisance standards, and then have it be like, at the discretion of the enforcement officer?
so let's look at the noise ordinance and
Yep. It's a good idea to pull that up.
see what that wording is.
Yep. What's loud to me might not be loud
To
to
others,
anybody
yeah.
else, or vice versa.
The geese make more noise.
Geese can be loud.
Yeah, they're loud.
Even then, the responding officer may go there and be like, yeah, that doesn't seem too bad. Well, you don't live next to that goose.
Well, they usually just fly over.
What's that?
How would Officer Damon handle it?
I think Officer Damon would handle that very well. And I'm glad that you wove it in before I did, because I was going to try. That's well played.
Whacker patrol.
Just sit.
Did you want to zoom in on future Officer Broderick? The only member who came in, there he is. Looks great in uniform. We have an opening.
Whacker cracker.
Okay, so it says section 5602 prohibitions, general prohibitions. It shall be unlawful for a person to make or cause to be made any loud or unreasonable noise. Noise shall be deemed to be unreasonable when it disturbs, injures, or endangers the peace and health of another, or when it endangers the health, safety, or welfare of the community. Any such noise should be considered to be a noise disturbance and public nuisance as determined by any enforcement officer of Swanton Village.
That's what I was referencing.
Offer discretion.
So,
So you would amend the ordinance to section 56.
You make it specific to noise, or where's odor come in?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
yeah.
So like right at the very end of that sentence, enjoyment of neighboring properties
There you go.
at the discretion of the enforcing officer.
Yep.
Or whatever it said.
And as we discussed, we talked to the chief about both of these, and he does not anticipate heavy lift out of either one of these. And I do love the fact that the first one's a warning. It's reasonable.
That is.
Yeah.
Okay, Diane, I think we have everything we need on this, then, correct? From your point of view? Okay.
Yeah, we'll just, I can make those changes real quick.
Do we need a motion?
Okay, I move that we adopt the Swanton Village animal ordinance as we have revised it.
And I'll second.
All right, we have a first and a second to adopt the revised animal ordinance. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you. Good work. Number 11, review and approve proposed Swanton Village balance refund policy, which I don't know what that is.
It was in your email.
I still didn't understand it.
Lynn's going to talk about this one. Hi, Lynn.
Hi. So the reason that I'm bringing this in front of you is we get sometimes very small refunds that we need to do on final to customers' accounts. And with the price of postage and processing everything, I wanted to put a threshold on the bottom that if we've got a customer that has moved out of our area, that they would have to request a refund if it's less than $3. The other piece to this is if we have a rate increase in the future and we file hypothetically for a certain amount and the PUC gives us a lesser amount, we're going to have to refund customers the difference. And what other utilities are finding is they're chasing these customers that have left their service territory or don't have a forwarding address, and for little tiny amounts. So another utility put a policy like this in place and did not have to refund customers for the difference on their rate case. So I figured we'd be proactive and do it now, and it'll help us if we've got any of those little small amounts. Because when somebody gets a check for, you know, a couple bucks, they aren't apt to cash it, and then we've got it hanging out there. So that's kind of the background on why I wanted this policy.
No?
Lynn, why
Makes sense.
$3 and not $10?
Probably costs more to have the check printed than it does.
Reasonableness for the PUC. You just want the little nuisance ones to
Yeah.
go away. Morrisville was doing 10 cents, 15 cents, 13 cents.
Right, that's what I'm
Processing checks, time, and
saying.
sending
Why not make the limit, the threshold $10, so anything less than $10, you know?
I believe you'd see the PUC frown on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
I think less than
So
5 is what she
It was Morrisville's policy that I based this on, and they used the $3 amount, and it went through without a problem.
Okay,
So I didn't want to push it
Yep.
any more than that.
Okay.
fair enough.
Need to make a
Okay,
motion?
so you want a motion? Okay. so-
Yes, because this is part of our financial policies, and I will update it and print it, so that when Diane goes out and makes those other changes, she can grab it off the printer for you guys to sign.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve the balance refund policy of Swanton Village.
And I'll second.
I have a copy of it here, Lynn. Are you making changes to it?
Yeah, the only thing that needs to be changed, Diane, is the bottom where it says, put in the date.
Oh, the date, okay,
The
yeah.
date. Yeah, that's the only change, so I was gonna do that and print it, 'cause I provided
Okay, yeah,
that.
thank you.
Do you want me to specify the amount in the motion or no?
Seems like a good idea.
Lynn?
No, I would just
No.
say to, just the balance refund policy.
Okay, that's what I said.
Say we have to put an amount.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep,
Can I ask who seconded that?
he
I
did.
did.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we have a first and a second to adopt the new village balance refund policy that Lynn has proposed. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you.
Good
You're
idea.
welcome.
Number 12, discuss and approve Church Street TAP grant additional funding request.
Okay, so this first one, both 12 and 13 are closely related. As you recall, we have 3 current ongoing transportation alternative grants. The first one is for Merchants Row, the second one is for Church Street, the third one is for Canada. When we identified the scope of Merchants Row, we applied for and received a certain amount, and we need more. based on the scoping study, the fact that it's taken a couple years. So for the construction, we want to maximize the available amount, which is for each one of those, the maximum in a transportation alternative grant is $600,000. So it would not only change our request, it would change our match. So we're seeking first, we'll stick just with number 12. The proposed motion would be the Swanton Village Trustees authorize the village manager, William Sheets, to request additional grant funding from the state of Vermont for Church Street upgrades in the amount of $126,250 with a match of $31,256.
Hard match or in kind?
Hard.
31,000.
31,256.
This is an addition.
Correct. So that brings our total award, if successful. This is only getting board approval so the state knows that if they grant this, you're willing to meet the match. So we're trying to get another $126,250, which brings us to $600,000 for this particular project. It also increases our match by $31,256.
So what's the total would be if we got this? What-
$600,150. Max match is 150.
20% is the.
150?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
And that would come out of the highway?
It could
Budget.
come, well, depends on exactly what the scope of the project is. So in particular, Church Street has a lot of stormwater. So it really depends on what the project scope entails, and we don't have the final product yet in front of us. So we don't have an engineered design that's 90% yet. So it would include some general fund. It would include potentially, not likely water, likely wastewater for stormwater.
Hopefully some LOT.
Could be some local option tax. This is part of the ongoing discussion that we had initially. You know, it's really hard to leave $600,000 times 3 on the table. But at the same time, you have to recognize that you have to be stating on the record and supporting the fact that we will provide the match.
Right.
So construction years again, we got, in 2022, we get the TAP award for Merchants Row. We're not putting a shovel in the ground for 4 years. Next year will be year 4. That's when the construction happens. So that'll be 26 where the funds will be needed for match. That's the next agenda item. In all likelihood, 2027 for Canada Street. No, Church
Church.
Street. Canada Street would be likely 28 or 29 for a match.
So that's 480K for the grant and 120 for our match in total for this.
And what
It
year
would
are we
be-
doing the bridge again?
Oh, I'm going to talk about that. I have a big handout for everybody and a detailed discussion.
Okay, I'm just
2028 in all likelihood.
Okay, I've got my head around how many
Uh,
construction projects are going on in the downtown at the same time.
Add to that a critical need. You know, we've already authorized the expenditure with VHB to do an engineering study to get it construction shovel ready for 74 Merchants Row. We have a parking problem, so that's another area downtown that we need to address. We have no funding to do that, and there's no project in sight, but there's a critical need.
That's where the LOT would be helpful.
LOT would be helpful. There are probably some other ways that we can discuss to fund it as well.
Okay, so you're looking for a motion to approve this additional funding, but as of right now, we don't know where we're gonna come up with the $31,256.
But don't get ahead of ourselves. So this is simply permission to request additional funding in the form of another grant. And if successful, the match would be $31,256. There is no guarantee that we would get another penny for this.
Okay, so you're gonna ask,
Yeah, he's requesting that we approve the ask.
Correct.
okay.
That's what we're doing.
The ask is for an additional 126,000, 31,000 of which is the match.
Right.
Correct. Yep. And I typed this out for you, Diane, so you have it.
So I'll move we approve having the village manager go to the state to request an additional TAP grant additional funding request in the amount of $126,250 and if approved by the state, another hard match of $31,256.
Correct, yeah.
Second.
Second.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking.
All right, we have a first and a second to approve to allow Bill to apply for permission
Correct.
to add $126,250 to the TAB grant for the Church Street project, if approved, with a $31,000 extra matching. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Number 13, discuss and approve Canada Street TAP grant additional funding request.
So I consider it properly warned, but let's call this an extension of Canada Street because we're really talking about Merchants Row here. This is from the 2022 grant. So we were looking, the motion would be to request additional grant funding from the state of Vermont for Merchants Row upgrades in the amount of $166,000 with a match of $33,200. So this is for Merchants Row, and this would be an expenditure for calendar year 2026, we hope.
2026. And that is that whole part from the park down to Merchants Row,
Correct.
right?
So they're both for 2026?
No. The motion, previous motion, agenda item
2027.
12 is 2027 at the earliest.
Church Street is 2027.
Okay.
And the match was 33,002?
33,200.
200.
Yep.
Bill,
Yes.
because I warned it as Canada Street, is it Merchants Road / Canada Street?
Is it the top of Canada Street?
It's supposed to be for Merchants Row. It's so close. I think in the spirit of this, I think we're okay, truly. I do. Because they're all interconnected, every presentation, everything.
Okay.
We give them all together.
I think we're
All right.
okay.
So this is everything from the library down to basically the bridge.
That is correct. Yep. Because it is not just Merchants Row. The first iteration of this project is other traffic calming and stop signs.
Yeah,
And
Grand Avenue.
it does go that,
We just refer to it as Canada Street or Merchants Row, but it's kind of all entailed that
It
area.
is,
Correct.
all
We're good.
together.
this does truly touch Canada Street.
But that's
Yeah.
the tip.
But then after this happened,
This is
we
in
call the
particular to the-
third iteration truly Canada Street.
Yep.
And remember, we applied for and received the maximum for that. So we're already at the 600,000.
So there's another Canada Street besides this
Yeah.
Canada Street.
Yeah, so if we're really
Canada Street,
renaming
Part
it
One.
for us, 2022 Merchants Row,
Okay.
2024 grant, TAP grant for Church Street, 2025 TAP grant for
Canada.
Canada Street.
Yeah.
Those are the
So Church
difference.
Street, Merchants Row, Canada Street.
Okay.
So again, this is the trustees authorizing me to request additional grant funding from the state of Vermont. Same thing, no guarantees, requesting $166,000 with a match of $33,200.
So moved.
Second?
All right, we have a first and a second to approve, to Bill to ask permission to increase the Canada Street project for TAP grant to $166,000 with a $33,200 match. All in favor?
No,
Aye.
no.
Sorry. Discussion.
Discussion? Oh, okay. Further discussion?
So if this is approved, this request is approved, where are we getting the funds for this?
You either do it through a request next year in the budget, or, as we've talked about, one of the possibilities is to sell the property next door to the electric department, because it will be used solely by the electric department, and then you will have $400,000 in a separate account to be used for expenses such as this.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. All right.
Or possibly LOT.
But it's going to take a while for
It's gonna
LOT
take
to
a
pop in.
while.
If we put LOT on the 2026
Ballot.
ballot, it's.
That's right.
2 years.
Yeah, we're not going to be looking at,
Still
be able to use that to, until we actually do
Probably
Canada
about a
Street,
year.
Canada Street,
Yeah.
and maybe
Yeah.
the bridge.
It's
So
we've
that's
talked,
why I was.
we've talked about it briefly, and it's a discussion that is worth having, and it's totally up to the trustees. If you did that, it would be for the same price that we paid for it. Nobody's trying to gouge anybody, and then you're taking the 400,000. And you think about, you'd be good, you'd meet match 1, and you'd meet match 2, and you would have 3 years then to build, either using a local option tax or other avenues to start talking about Canada Street.
Okay,
I don't think you could do all 3 and your parking lot.
no,
I think you gotta pick your projects here.
Right.
no, you're
Yeah,
right.
there's quite a few projects jamming in there.
Well, I mean, the thing is,
The only thing about the property next door, Bill, is we've got to be careful about, we don't know what the cost is coming in at yet. So the electric department may not have the money.
Yep.
You know, we're facing a huge rate increase next year. So I think we've got to be very careful about how we go about that. And, you know, my concern is getting a rate increase through the PUC with what we're going on with the hydro dam and with the impact of the bond that's been approved. So cash flow may not be there
Very good point.
to have them, and that 400,000 was grant money that we could have right from the get-go allocated to the electric department.
Right, but we didn't, so this is
So
this is where Lynn and I differ, and that's okay. That's, it's a good dialogue. We're gonna be doing rate cases for multiple years based on everything we're facing for the electric department. So this becomes a known and measurable that can be weighed by the PUC, and then we have $400,000 to use. Again, what we have to do is put together a package for you and determine what you want us to do.
Yeah.
It's an option. That's all it is at this point. We're just having a discussion.
We're not gonna let that be a stalemate on this project. There might be other avenues to finance this.
no,
other
I
than-
know, I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
saying I want to hold this project up. What I'm saying is I'm just concerned about where we're going to get the money to pay for it if it does, because we've already, the match that we got for Merchants Row, I believe we said that we would take the paving and the sidewalk budget to pay our match for that.
No, we reduced our budget last year for sidewalks, knowing that we didn't have to budget for it because we got a $75,000 grant and we had an in-kind.
Right, and we
to
have
meet
another
that
grant.
need. We have the same thing
In-kind.
next year.
Right, so that's something I guess we could look at doing again as, I
Yes.
guess my thing is the property taxes that are the people in the village pay because they have to pay village tax and they have to pay town tax. It feels burdensome, right? So even though last year,
Yep.
all we did was do a cost of living increase, and that's a bare minimum cost of living increase. There's a lot of backlash of like, oh my God, you raised our taxes, and to then go and say, okay, now we want to do this project, and we're gonna throw this $33,000 into the highway department.
Yep.
It just,
Yep.
it feels like a big ask right now, and so I'm just kind of putting the pause on it because I just want to know
Yep.
what our thoughts are,
Yep.
where can we get this money
Right.
from without
Right.
putting the burden onto the taxpayer, if it's
Absolutely.
possible.
Yeah, I think it's possible. I would encourage you as a board of trustees to have a dialogue with your counterparts in the town. I watch every single meeting. They actually have a desire to help and have openly said on camera how they want to have the ability to help us with our downtown core. And asking is free.
Certainly like the idea to
So, okay.
And again,
I know, it's just to ask, but
Yeah.
at the same time, just for my own,
Yeah.
my
No, I
own
get it,
sense
I get
of knowing, and
Yep.
for whoever's out there watching,
Yep.
sense of knowing, I don't want them to be like, oh, look, there's Neil, Susie, and Adam just pissing our money away. Excuse me. I'm sorry, world.
Well, I mean, these projects are kind of one Swanton type improvement.
They are.
They may be one Swanton type improvements, but it's not on a one Swanton budget, so that's.
Correct.
You know, that's, I guess, my thing.
That's bringing up Bill's idea of talking to the town.
no, I.
We have a joint meeting coming up. It's worth a dialogue. I have it all the time with Brian, but
Yeah.
we are not people that make the rules, and we don't have a say in that, so.
Yeah. No, I get the property taxes, and, you know, if they can fix the education fund, then it's gonna help a lot of people.
Okay, sorry, I
We'll
just,
see about that.
we can get back on.
Digress.
Yep, let's get back on the topic here. So, we were in the
Your motion.
process of
Yeah,
making
we-
a motion. And we did the further discussion. All in favor of, I think it's giving Bill the permission to request to boost the grant application for Canada Street, an extra 166,000, which would have a 33,200 taxpayer match. Where those funds are coming from is to be determined, but if we get actually chosen for the grant, we'll continue with that process when it comes apart. To that time, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you, everyone. Number 14, AMI project update. I got mine this week.
I can start, and then Lynn can add anything. So we have over 750 water meters, and we're now over 2,500 electric meters installed. I think we continue to see progress. Everybody really, I guess the thing that stands out for me is when you walk in, whether it's out front or out back, everybody is out installing, reading meters, or doing anything and everything they have to do to try to make this work
Yeah.
out front,
Yeah.
including Lynn and Diane, who are the only two that are here in the room. I'm not saying that it's going to be easy, but at least the people seem to think we're heading in the right direction. But you all sit out there every day out front. I don't. I can only, I get stuff in passing. So Lynn, feel free to weigh in.
We're moving slowly. I mean, it's baby steps right now. The guys have put in, last week Lori was on vacation, so I was helping doing some of her work. And one day they put in over 180 electric meters. So when they don't have other stuff that has to be done and they can all like do hands on deck, they're putting in a lot of meters in a day's time, which on the flip side makes a lot of work for the front office, verifying those meters. We have to, once they put them in, Trish has to verify and then push them through Empower. And then Lori, the part I was doing last week was going through and looking at the new account, the new meter numbers, the old meter numbers, and making sure that the consumption looked reasonable. But it's getting there. I think we got our software company's attention. They seem to be more responsive to us. I sent them another email last week, because the guy that we were dealing with, that was our programmer, went off site to another customer for 2 weeks. And, I let our project manager know that, I didn't really appreciate that because one, he had said, I'll be able to check if you guys have problems, send me an email, I can work on it at night. So we did, we had an issue and we sent an email and he's like, well, I can't get to it till Friday. And this was the beginning of the week. And I'm like, we can't, we're trying to work through issues. I got her ear, she's being very responsive now. We're working through an issue with Power Factor. That's been an open case that we've had for probably a month. And we're getting some, resolve on that. It's slow though, they're in the testing phase of why isn't it working. We still have commercial customers to put in and net meters. We haven't done the net metered customers yet. We've got, I think, Diane, you said there's 4 people that have opted out at this point between water and electric,
More like 7.
which isn't bad.
Oh, 7 or 8 now.
Okay. All right. I mean, that's still not a lot because they were saying we were going to have about 1% is what they told us to start with. One thing that another utility did when they first started their AMI is anybody that opted out, they put in a regular residential meter. They still changed the meter out, but put a standard meter in. If that person left, if it was an apartment building and the tenant left or the home was sold, whatever, they went in and put an AMI meter in. So that's one thing that we've had a conversation up front, and I had a conversation with Darren and Jody about, I think that's a good policy, because then whoever the new person is, they have to go through the motions of letting us know that they don't want an AMI meter. So other than that, I mean, it's just a lot more labor intensive in the office than I think any of us really thought it would be. And we're not alone. The person that we're dealing with that VEPSA hired, she's got a customer in another state that is grappling with same issues with the AMI software provider. And some of the other VEPSA members, they're in various stages of implementation. A lot of them are very early in this process. They're having some hiccups with their software companies too. So it's just because we were the first ones and we were the first ones hitting these roadblocks, it just seemed overwhelming. But I think everybody's going to have a varying degree of software issues. But it'll be great when it's done.
So I got a question for you, Lynn. You guys got to register each one of those meters one by one into the system?
So the guys put them in and they put in all the information through an iPad or their cell phones. They take a picture of the old meter so that we have the meter number and the final read. They take a picture of the new meter so we have the beginning reading number and the serial number. Because sometimes what we're finding is when the guys are putting the meter number into the exchange program, they're transposing a number, or it should be a 6-digit serial number, and they, fat finger something and put a 7th digit in. So we're having to correct those sorts of things. But the import process, it works. But it's a lot of verifying on both Trish and Lori's part to get it to make sure everything's right. But they're not manually the office staff isn't manually entering every meter into an account. But the guys have to. But the new meters, they can barcode scan, but they got to make sure there's like 3 different barcodes on these new meters, so they have to make sure they pick up the right barcode. But them taking pictures of the meters has been great, because then we can pull it up and say, oh, that should have been a 4 instead of a 5 in that serial number, or whatever it is. Or if a customer questions what their final read was, we've got a picture of it, instead of the guys going through bins of meters out there.
Lynn, keep us involved or posted, should you run into issues with the software folks. I, for one, I won't take no for an answer. So,
yep.
If we need to flex our muscle, we will.
Okay.
Diane, do you have anything to add?
It's going good.
All right.
Okay. That's the end of the AMI project update. Thank you, Lynn.
You're welcome.
Number 15, the next fun topic. The Ormond Croft Hydroelectric Generating Facility dam repair update. Anything?
Okay. Yeah, I would say so.
All right.
Once again, this could be, this in and of itself could be a full-time job. So FERC We have officially notified FERC and ANR that we're moving forward, so that means we're moving forward now with a 401. The state of Vermont theoretically has had 30 days in which to request a formal meeting with myself, our entity, and our FERC attorney, Paul Nolan. They replied right away that based on our continued communication, they didn't need to do that. So they waived their right to that. What does that mean?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
I was gonna say,
We are now going to be
Jack.
in
Well, you're on top of
in kind of a time warp, but know that
It's just a
we have
time to
notified both the federal and state governments and all entities that are any part related to this that we intend to restore the dam to its previous height. Doesn't talk about the technology, doesn't say what that's going to mean. It says we want to move forward with the water quality certification at the height that it was at previously. So they have that. So next steps on that to be determined, but we will we'll hear some stuff probably fairly soon, next steps. In addition, we had a week and a half plant shutdown with the following work performed. So I'm going to get in depth here, not as much as what's going on day to day, but I just want to give you a sense of what's involved. And I know you all been here for a while, so you get that. Sigma C did the inspection and testing for the tie breakers and relay maintenance for all 5 units. Same time, Knowles Engineering came in and they did a crack detection and sealing, which is a grout injection for the scroll cages for unit 1 and 2. So penstock feeds the water, scroll cages then feed the water from the penstock into the turbines, all kinds of issues. So those are now sealed and fixed, but within the next 2 years, they must come in and further seal with a different material to be determined the inside of both scroll cages, just because it's time. As a reminder, we have a very old facility. So they did that. NORCAN came in, they're the experts out of Canada that try to do the identification of the root cause of the vibration in Unit 2. We do not know what the root cause of the vibration is, but we can tell you based on their feedback that the Unit 2 turbine is likely at its end of its useful life. So all the thrust bearings and the guide bearings and the stuff from what you see, and if you're looking at the turbine, so the turbine was situated with a lot of the components up here, those are all kind of brand new. That's the good news. But the stuff down below, the expensive stuff, the shaft and the turbine, are likely going to have to be replaced.
Is that
So-
from 1920?
28, I believe. Don't quote me on that, TV. 1920s at some point. So
about 100 years old.
yeah, and it's just
Gary's dad.
it's going to involve taking off the top and taking a look at it, and we'll get involved. We'll get detailed about that. That's not our priority right now. There are other priorities. Although, like Dan says, that there's times when you need a smaller unit to maximize generation, and you can't rely on unit 3 and 4. 3 and 4 megawatts. You don't need that big. So that scope is to be determined. At the same time, we had H.L. Turner, that's our engineer of record. She was on site ensuring that everything was done to contract specs and industry standards. And you have to have that protection. They can tell us one thing, but you have to have a subject matter expert in there saying, yes, I'm signing off on exactly what they said they did. So, and then we have a new normal. So because we're trying to operate the hydro to maximum efficiency with our new reality, which is 15.5 feet lower, the new reality involves a lot of mud. So during plant shutdown, they first went down into unit 3 and 4 and discovered that down in the turbine area, they had mid-thigh thick mud, like quicksand. They tried to actually, a bunch of different stuff that didn't work. Now we got a formula. We know that the fire department with a fire hose putting in just thousands of gallons of water, it makes a slurry and it goes down the drain. And that was all the way up to penstock, same thing.
wow.
And a little bit less, but a lot. So, lesson learned, we never had to deal with this in our lives. They just simply opened up the gate up above, a marginal amount, and they did it a few times, and they got that out, and they washed it out.
Kind of sucking from the bottom of the
Yeah.
pond.
And then the surge tank, which we were gonna have Public Works go up and do, after they had so much success with the fire trucks, the surge tank, and I got photos, it is almost up to your waist of just that heavy, thick mud. So same thing, just you make a slurry and you force it down the drain, and now all of those areas are clean. But the new reality is, we got the expectation, but if the water's flowing good, it's a little bit of mud through the turbines, and as long as you don't get sticks and rocks that are gonna screw up your wicket gates, it'll flow and you'll produce power. So it is truly the new normal.
How much are we making? About a meg now?
Well, remember, the root cause of all of our additional power supply and requirements there is the drought.
Yeah.
So no, on most days we don't come close to a megawatt.
Okay.
And
Still,
we're half,
didn't know if the extra 3 or
one
4 feet was
quarter,
making a difference.
one quarter of a megawatt. That's about it. So we need rain. Remember, when we're spilling consistently, we think we can do about 6.6.
Yeah.
That's not nothing. So we're looking forward to those days. So the surge tank took 6,000 gallons of water from the fire department. So it's nice to have your own fire department to get that done. We just finished our request for proposals to identify our subject matter expert that's going to navigate us through the $60,000 grant we got from the state of Vermont to prioritize in which order we're going to fix which things. So very select group, 3 very capable folks. We created a team using a rubric, and we scored those. A company called Valergy, and it's Celeste Faye's group, who's worked with us in the past, and 3 other subject matter experts that are on her team. They were the ones that were secured. We have an 11 a.m. kickoff phone call with her and her team tomorrow. So that's that step, and you may have seen the media release, maybe not. So the funding came from the Community Development Block Grant funding. So Governor Scott's office did a big press release. That $60,000 was one of only 11 community grants awarded in the state of Vermont this round, and we got one. So that's a good thing. So in the middle of all that, we're doing multiple things with FERC. We're pursuing, and we have officially requested the waiver of our annual licensing fee. My reading, and I'm no lawyer, is that we're exempt. So we're trying to be exempt. And if that's not the case, we may be exempt now based on our reduced production capacity. In addition, we're officially applying for a penstock or a nameplate delineation. So right now we're at like 11 megawatts because they just simply take the 5 turbines, individual capacity, and add them up. Our penstock restriction, we can be 9.7 on the bestest day under the best conditions, maybe 9.6. So we're under 10 megawatts. It's a big distinction, both at the State House for grants and federal level for grants. So we're asking them to change that, and based on penstock restrictions. So that's a day in the life right now of everything going on there, and let's top it all off. Let's add the crime wave. So Highgate's been hit multiple times. Their area, their public works, the 2 stores in town, DeSorcy's Market. We believe the same 2 delinquents hit our shed and took $2,200 worth of Ego Power equipment, handheld stuff, and 1 battery. They left the snow blowers, they left the other stuff, but at the hydro.
Oh, the hydro.
At the hydro. So this is the hydro update. So because it's village property, our PD, even though it's Highgate, is investigating and looking at limited camera footage. But again, we're increasing that because it's failing up there. It's an old camera system. That's that.
Great.
Interesting.
Despite all that, with Dan's leadership, we do have a hell of a team up there, and they're doing everything they can, and that maintenance team. And I wish I had the pictures to show you head to toe, just grime and dirt. They're crawling in and out of those turbines regularly. Yeah. But that's the update for that.
Wonderful. Well,
Number 16, Bill, village manager update.
Boy, I gotta get a good drink of H2O.
I bet.
Let me see, let me go back to page 2, see what I got. Oh, I covered that, we're good. Okay, let's talk about the bridge. So I sent all of you in advance of this meeting the 200-page report. But if you can please just take one of these down and pass it around, and Diane, I will get you one of these to scan and post after. So this is a synopsis.
Okay.
And I think we probably will post the entire link on the Facebook page.
Okay.
But if you recall, so we, when they came back and did their second presentation, we talked about the fact that we wanted alternative 2, which is an ultra-high performance concrete overlay, full width, which means new sidewalks and new railings. Concrete overlay. So that's kind of what it says on page 16 of that revised report. And then on page 23, the conclusion, it talks about the fact that limited closures, literally the span of closures will be approximately 5 days twice. They'll need to do that. So maybe a total of 10 days, but that makes us qualify for the 2.5%.
That's good.
So the rest of it will be on the state of Vermont. So we will do, for the most part, we'll do that same traffic that we talked about. Eastbound, westbound, one is rerouted, one is not. So one-way traffic across the bridge for the entire time. They provide traffic control. And then if you look on the page 21 at the end, with that alternative, the anticipated, again, not finalized cost, the anticipated cost is just under $4,400,000, with our share being $109,867. 2028-ish is what they're talking about. I don't know if it'll happen next year or not. So we have to add that to our planned expenses. We've talked about in the past, do you ask the voters, the village of Swanton, to set aside a portion of that this year and next year?
Yeah.
Specifically by name for that.
Yep.
Now,
Yeah.
here's the problem. If they say no, you still are committed to this. You can't
Right.
not fix your bridge.
Right.
Right.
But it's an alternative. If you ask for 55,000 now and 55,000 next year, that's a different lift.
Yeah.
So our match was,
The other option that we've got, besides putting it away, if you guys don't want to do that, is we could go to the voters to take out debt to pay that match, and then we can stretch it out over, say 5 or 10 years. But you're going to incur interest, so it's a shuffle of which way do we think is better for the community.
Yep, for sure. So if anybody needs, I didn't want to kill trees, we always have a standing copy of the entire 200-page report here, and again, you have it electronically, so
Yep.
I'll make sure Diane gets a copy of this to post and scan, as well as a link to the entire report. So that's the bridge. Any questions about the bridge?
No, sir.
Okay. Moving on to the fire department, good success having Chad Parra as the SRO over at the elementary school. So the first time in a long time, we had 3 members of the fire department, Lindsay Potter, John Greer Jr., and Alexander Boudreau, present to every class at the elementary and middle school in one day, both inside the classroom and outside demonstrations, and then they joined the kids for lunch. And just cool, just a great success, and it's all volunteer. So kudos to them, thanks to them. That was great to do. And the better news even is in the last several months, the fire department's added 5 new members to the department.
Very nice.
They don't have any certifications, so they're not level 1 or level 2, but they're in the process of getting certified to be able to go on calls.
Yep.
So with these new additions, we're nearly fully staffed as a volunteer firefighting organization. It's either 28 or 29 members, depending on one person over there. The maximum based on just gear rack space is 32. So Kudos again for the leadership over there, and I think it's just a lot of the stuff that's happening, like I just said, in the community outreach, and they've been busy. If you're watching the tones and you see what's going on, it's that time of year, but they have been busy. So that's the fire department. They're going to continue to be busy because starting Thursday of this week and then next week, I think we have 7 classes from MVU coming in here for PD, fire, and then Dan does double duty. They come back on a different day for hydro tours. So again, anything we can do for MVU, and it's always good to see the students here. Opioid funding. We had talked in the past, and you supported a motion to donate all current and future opioid money, settlement money, to Northwest Counseling and Support Services for a program that they're going to do. They were going to come in the fall and present, but I'm going to give you an update, and I'm going to suggest that you wait until January, early January next year. So they are doing right now a collaboration with a whole bunch of people to do this presentation multiple times called Screenagers. And again, this is...
That's at the library.
It's all over the place. So it's at the MVU Theater, Swanton Cafeteria. I'm going to go to one. I'm doing the one on December 3rd at MVU, 5:30 to 7:30. And this really is an outreach to educate folks and to have them identify that there's other things to do early on other than be addicted to opioids. Yes. So it should be a good program, and then what we'll do is we'll have Melinda come in. I got a Freedom of Information Act request today from Vermont Digger saying, hey, we're surveying all the opioid settlement money, and I think I surprised them. I cut and pasted all the things that we're doing. I sent them this PDF, and I said, hey, reach out. We'd love to see you do a story on it. They're doing a story anyway. I think the story was gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, how about get some of this good stuff?
Yeah.
So we're trying to highlight the stuff that we're doing there. So that was that. League of Cities and Town Safety Inspection, we got yet another report back for this complex. Again, rave reviews, very minor things to fix, and we've already fixed those. So we have electric left. We're going to wait until they move next door, and then we have hydro and wastewater when the upgrade is complete. So really good progress on those, but again, the report, it's rave reviews here. It was little things like covers on sprinkler heads that are low. Maybe different chemicals can't be in certain cabinets, and that was so easy fix for all of that stuff. So good progress and really good partners to have, and those safety inspections are free and they only serve to improve us. Public Works. So they finished the Grand Avenue sidewalk, and they'll continue down Grand Ave toward Platt Street next year. So based on the time and all the projects they have, we're out of the sidewalk business for this year. They got a couple of more curbings to do, and that's it. They're trying to host as many classes here at the complex as they can. So we've got a 3-day chainsaw class, a complete streets training, and a tree pruning class. Here's the trick. If we host and we make the space available, we go for free.
Cool.
Why not?
Why not?
Cost us absolutely zero. We actually go to things that we need to have done. And they cut trees sometimes when we need those things done. It's all a win-win. So we're trying to do that. They're going to winterize some hydrants and general preparedness for winter. We believe that we're set for this calendar year and maybe all the way through January currently with sand, salt, and calcium chloride, but we have contracts in place when we do have to buy those. So,
Cool.
But for right now, I think we estimate we're good into January, if not to the end of January. Bathroom at McQuam Beach, drinking fountain, Cascade Fountain, and the Village Green are all going to be shut down by the end of the month. Mm-hmm. So that'll be over. And then, of course, as a reminder to the public, the swans are not ours. So that's up to when they're going to move the swans, not the trustees. Village doesn't own the swans.
That is correct.
Yeah.
I will ask, though.
Wastewater, real quick, we're on schedule again somehow to be done by the end of the year, the first couple weeks in January, but I remind Kingsbury Construction and Aldrich and Elliott that is October 14th right now. Is that today? 14th, right?
Yes.
So I'm not sure that we're 7 weeks out. And if we're not, that's okay. It might be a couple of weeks, but there are penalties in that contract. So I bet you they pick up the pace. I bet you you have to be substantially complete. You can have a remaining punch list at no fault of the contractors if it's agreed on by the owner and the engineer. So we'll see how that goes. But progress continues on the filter building, wiring, new wiring's complete all the way out in between the lagoons. All of the aerators that we have are on. We have 2 ordered. We're budgeting 3 for next year. The more aerators, especially up front on the right side, the better Mother Nature works. So we're trying to maximize now, based on that new power supply, the number of lagoons we have. Or aerators and lagoons.
Yeah.
I'm okay. It's page 4.
Yeah.
And I think, other than a reminder that we're going to have a joint meeting with the town on October 21st at 6 p.m. Topics up front are local option tax, promote Swanton initiative, and policing. So I say that because I just watched their meeting, and I watched Highgate's meeting, and the town has approached the Franklin County Sheriff's Department for additional speeding-only enforcement, which
On Bushy, right?
which we're fine with,
Absolutely.
but I don't know that they can meet that need. So they just, I think it's not anything current. They're very happy. They say on camera they're very happy. I get nothing but good feedback for our organization. But I think in fairness, same thing. I got a call from Highgate as recently as today, talking about any additional capacity we have to meet some patrol needs in Highgate. And the answer is, we have none. We have none for our own town of Swanton right now.
Right.
That's just the reality of it. So, but I remind both boards that, and our board, nothing wrong with having a dialogue. And at some point, we're gonna have to do maybe something different or alternative. So October 21st, we'll all be together on that.
Do we have an agenda for that yet? Or is this gonna, strictly 3 items and?
No, I'm hoping, and I've asked that we are put near the front of the agenda so that when we're done, they can do their town business and
Okay.
you can all go home.
Yep.
So, and that's all I have with the exception of executive session. Executive session, though, we will have up to 2 action items to get back on camera and talk about.
Okay.
So I'll make the rest of the stuff in executive session as fast as they want me to go.
Is it all contract?
All legal, yes. Yeah, legal, yep. Well, exactly what it says, the proposal, so we're not quite there yet, but the land lease on Merchants Row.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Number 17, any other necessary business, folks?
Just a quick shout out for Halloween in the Park, coming up on the 26th of October. 5 to 7:30 maybe, 5 to 7. Something like that,
Something like that.
something like that. So,
I have a couple things. One is, last year when the guys took down the Christmas decor around the park, we got rid of it because the lights weren't working and some of it was cracked, so I need to replace the decor. It's about six poles. Did Darren say 6 or 7?
It's one of those, I don't remember.
It's 6 or 7. Anyways, I came up with some options. The wreaths, either you get like a 60-inch wreath to mount on the utility pole. This company, they're set with 3 candles in the middle. It's $789, which you can get bulk pricing. Or you can get it without the candles for $502. And again, bulk pricing. These are the same as this one, but the pricing on these, one's 50-inch, one's 54, and it's $682 or $832, and they don't offer bulk pricing. So I would like to go with this one, this 60-inch for $502 per wreath, which would be this one, and then get the bulk pricing, request the bulk pricing and see what it brings it down to, since I need 6 or 7 of them. And I would request that, I know there's some funds in the park budget for Christmas lights, but it's not enough. So my request would be to use some of that money that we have from what used to be ARPA, but I don't know what it's called, non-discretionary funds or.
Lynn, can you research, we don't need an answer now, but can you research the amount we had in the interest-bearing part of what was formerly ARPA?
Yeah, there was, off the top of my head, we've used some already, but I want to say there was like there was 10,000 left in there. I just looked up the budget to actual for maintenance of parks, and we are at budget right now.
Okay.
So any more expenses would take us over. It actually shows that we're over budget, but the cost of the tree grant ran through there also. Looks like in September we had almost an $8,000 expenditure in the parks, so I'd have to look and see what that is, but there is in that non-discretionary fund, there was some interest in there that we could use.
So can I have a motion to allow you to investigate this if I leave this on your desk, Lynn?
I
Yeah.
think she can investigate it without a motion.
Well, like investigate it and then spend it. I want the spending, because we need the things. We need them, otherwise we're gonna have a empty park. Okay, and then the other thing I had was the banners. The check has been written to the company. I contacted the company last week. They're waiting for the check to clear before they send me the link so I can upload all the information. So that's the holdup right now on the banners. I don't know that I'm gonna get them for Veterans Day, but they will go up as soon as everyone gets their proof, approves their proof, and they get printed and they arrive. So time permitting for the electric department with everything that they've got going on right now. So that's it, that's all I have.
So are you looking for a motion to purchase Christmas wreaths, 6 or 7 Christmas wreaths, depending on the number of utility poles, provided we have identified funding sources?
Yes, sir.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a first and a second to research $3,000 for 6 new wreaths for the park, depending on available funds. All in favor?
Aye.
May I make a suggestion? Would it make sense for one of the trustees to extend an olive branch of collaboration with the town select board and see if they would want to split the cost of these Christmas decorations that all Swanton residents observe and enjoy?
It's a grand idea, Bill.
I do believe that I'm meeting with Earl and Nicole. So
Yeah, I was gonna suggest Earl.
Yeah.
I'd get a hold
I
of him.
mean, you have the discussion, then you ask for a motion when you're in your joint meeting. It can't hurt. Asking is always free.
Yep.
you can go ahead and call Earl and I'll call Nicole.
Okay.
Also, Nicole and I were speaking again. We're both just kind of busy. We haven't had a meeting, a time to have a meeting, but working out a sort of park and recs where we don't have to have a committee, but just an agreement between the village and the recreation where we will share assets and people across our parks, and that will allow the rec to be able to fund some of the things in the park that we need to do, and also allow them to get grants to upgrade the park. So I don't know if that's something you guys want to have a discussion at a later date, but it would really just look like Nicole as the rec. I would be willing to be the trustee to have the discussions, and then we would get another member from the town, since the funding for the rec comes out of town.
Yep.
And a member of the board, the rec board. So that was what we were thinking, and that's kind of what we're kicking around. But if you guys have, if you're dead set against it, or if you don't.
Never hurts to ask.
Okay.
Seems like a
Isn't
great
it already
idea.
shared in the general fund?
What's that?
Yes, the rec is shared in the general
Right, the
fund.
rec.
Right, but the thought was to be able to have the rec to be able to help with the park's upkeep and the use, like specifically the beach, McQuon Beach, Marble Mill, those two specifically were the ones that we were discussing, to be able to resurface the pickleball courts, to get new, and to be able to split the workload between Nicole, the Rex guys, and PWD. So,
I think there's a lot of collaboration efficiencies that could be identified with this. It's a weakness for us. It really
Yeah.
is.
and I think that if Nicole and I are willing to work together to make it happen, I think that it was only going to benefit the village.
Agreed.
It sounds like a win-win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have anything? It's your turn.
No, I haven't been in town in the village a lot, but I just noticed this evening that the art wall in the VFW parking lot has a
Decorated, yeah.
welcome Swanton
Yeah, it's got the seal.
emblem on it.
Yeah.
It looks
It's
great.
good. They
Happened today, I think.
Put it up this
Yeah.
morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks good.
And in the spring, we're gonna get some of the guys from the VFW to build a flower box underneath it, and I'm planting red, white, and blue
Nice.
flowers for underneath it.
Sure. Nice.
Yeah, it looks really nice.
Great.
Is that the end of any other necessary business?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So shall we adjourn the regular meeting and enter into executive session?
I move that we find that we enter into executive session for the trustees to receive confidential legal information for which the premature disclosure of it to the general public will clearly place the trustees and others at a substantial disadvantage.
Second.
Okay, we have a first and a second to enter executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
I'll move that we enter back into regular session 2010.
Seconded.
All right, we have first and a second to enter back into a regular meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thank you, everyone. Motion carried.
Sorry for the notes. Who made that motion? And Adam seconded? Okay, thank you. Okay, would you like me to proceed?
Sir?
Yes.
Okay, so the conversation as outlined in the proposed executive session item on the agenda was to discuss the fact that a while back we bought 74 Merchants Row. And when we hired Day Land Surveying to do that, we determined that we owned a little bit more than what we thought. So
Hang on.
tell me when you're ready.
Okay.
So this is the entrance to Merchants Row on the side, and we had assumed we owned just kind of this rectangle. And we discovered through the survey that we owned a parking area behind. This section of the building is owned by Sam and Betty LLC, and this is owned by the Masonic 76th Lodge number 14. So what we did is we created MOUs with both parties, 20-year lease agreements that would allow them to assume the parking area behind both locations with a whole bunch of restrictions, essentially to take care and maintain the property, to not allow any parking there other than free parking for tenants or for business purposes. And that's really it in a nutshell. So I would be looking for a proposed motion of the Swanton Village Trustees, authorize the village manager to enter into a lease with Sam and Betty LLC as well as Masonic Lodge 76, Lodge number 14, to utilize the parking area behind and adjacent to 74 Merchants Row for parking as outlined in each lease to be filed with the Swanton Town Clerk.
So moved.
I'll second.
All right, we have a first and a second to authorize Bill to enter into leases for Sam and Betty and for the Masons Lodge. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Motion carried. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
I
Second. Okay.
We have a first and a second to
And a second.
exit the meeting? Okay. Any further discussion?
No, sir.
All right. Out of the meeting we are. Thank you very much.